After 2 years, Diet Saw is finally back, and with myself being the one person who enjoyed the original, I was legitimately curious to check this out. This is my review of Escape Room Tournament of Champions. While on their quest to discover the real secrets behind Minos and report them to the authorities, Ben and Zoe unwittingly find themselves locked in another series of escape rooms, slowly uncovering what they have in common to survive. Except this time they have all played this game before, they're all champions in some way or another, and now they have to team up together to figure this out. Before I start with my review, let me know what you think of the first escape room. Am I alone? Was I the only one who enjoyed that first film? And what do you think about this one? If you've seen it, if you're excited for it, throw it all in the comments below. Start the conversation. It is the most important part. And while you're down there, if you're new to the channel, first of all, thank you for clicking on this video. Why don't you consider clicking the subscribe button? It does wonders to get the content out there, and you will join a beautiful film fan community. I had so much fun with that original escape room. For context, that film came out months later in the UK, where I was at the time. It came out in January in the States, came out like in March or April in the UK. So I had only heard shit things, and I ended up enjoying it. It's not a great movie, I can't exactly recommend it, but it's exactly what I wanted from a stupid, really easy to watch horror film. This is kind of exactly the same thing, but in a good way. The best thing about this film is really the games, the cerebralness to it all. The games are really smart, they're really inventive, and they bring out the creative side not only of the filmmakers, but they make our characters think. They make our characters forcibly be smart through the script. And whenever you have smart characters, it's easy to root for them. And these characters not only are smart, they have to take risks, they have to be unsure, and they come across like real people, because in these situations you don't exactly think straight, but you use whatever knowledge you have and you use it to make the best decision possible. And these characters do it, and the fact that they're all winners gives something new to the film. It immediately puts you in an interesting position, because from the get-go you know what the stakes are, you've seen what happens to people who lose, so you know exactly what the consequences are. Understanding stakes, understanding consequences, and knowing what all these people have to lose makes it much more interesting from the beginning. So the first half of the film is firing on all cylinders. The film is just going for it. It's going nuts. It's giving you all the games, and it's making use out of all these characters and their knowledge and their experiences in the games. Taylor Russell is better than any of these films. She's such an excellent actress. She's amazing in Waves. She was great in the first film, and she's great again here. Legitimately, she elevates the material and whatever is happening around her. I also really like how these movies are shot. I like the score. Again, I like the inventiveness of the game, and this film does give us something familiar, but it adds something new to preceding. I think part of my fascination and enjoyment of these movies is because I like the Saw franchise as well. I like cerebral horror films. I like using games for horror. Part of my fascination as well might be because I've never done an escape room. I've always wanted to. The opportunity just hasn't arisen, but I would love to be in an escape room. Not one of these from Minos, but I'd love to be in one, and I'm fascinated by how they began with this idea, an escape room, but you actually die, and let's do this all insane things. And they are insane in this film, quite more than the first one. But in the third act, things get complicated. I can't spoil anything, I wouldn't do that, but this film pulls something very similar to a certain other franchise that came out very recently, and it didn't work too well. I was happy that they had this idea to add this to the story. I just didn't like the execution. And much like in the first film, I hate the ending. I know these films as a whole are kind of far-fetched. We have to suspend our disbelief. But the endings of these movies take on a whole new meaning for that. They take it to the entirely next 100 levels, and I just really don't like it. It feels like they're having their cake and eating it too, and it just doesn't work. This film ended one scene earlier. I would have really loved how they finished this off and how they set up the possibility of a third, because of course they do. Escape Room Tournament of Champions does not reinvent the wheel, does not reinvent the genre of horror. If you enjoy the first one, this is exactly what it is there for, to give you more of the same while adding something new to the franchise, to the lore, I guess, to the story. It's a fun time, an easy time, and I, once again, enjoyed myself quite a bit. I'm giving Escape Room Tournament of Champions a C+. I also really love how they basically summarize the entire first film, like if you were watching a Netflix show and you're starting the second season and you watch all the important bits of the first season. They do that exact same thing at the beginning of this film. Here's the gist of the first movie, in case you haven't seen it, because it didn't make a lot of money. Thank you so much for watching. You are the best. Let me know all your thoughts on the first escape room, on this one. Have you ever done an escape room? And if so, what is your favorite? Throw it all in the comments. And if you watched this far, I guess you enjoyed it on some level, so please consider subscribing if you have not done so yet. I'll be back very soon. Many more reviews. I see you in those. So until then, love each other and love the movies.